Hi guys, this is Professor Darwish with you, and this is recording number 1 in our class, Computer and Data Communication, CSCI 3666, and this is about how to make two of the Ubuntu Linux communicate with each other. As I told you guys, this is going to be prerequisite for you before doing the test. So I'm going to be starting by launching Oracle VirtualBox, and if you recall back, we already have installed these two images, or these two installation for Linux Ubuntu running on 16.04 as a 32-bit operating system. So this is VM1 or box number 1, and this is box number 2, and both of them are off. Now, a prerequisite for having two boxes to communicate with each other, okay, and we decided to use the internal network. We decided to use a private network or local network. In other words, it's not public and it's not using dynamic, so it's basically static network. So in order to do that, you go to network and make sure that to choose internal network, and you attach that box, which is the Linux Ubuntu VM1, into switch 1. So basically it's like physically wired to switch 1, and internal network means that we're gonna use static IP addresses. And I told you guys to double check the MAC address, because the MAC address in both machines must be unique. The MAC address here in this machine ends with A, hexadigit A, and again this is how it is for the first VM. So let me double check that second machine here, and I'll go to network, and it is connected to the same switch, physical switch. Of course, in this case it's logical switch, but it's internal network, advanced. Oh, this is ending with number or digit 9, so they are different MAC addresses, so we have no problem. So we have two machines physically connected, or logically in this case connected, to the same virtual box, or virtual switch, which we call it switch number 1 or switch 1. So the next step, I'm going to launch VM1, which is running Linux Ubuntu, and you can close all these gray warnings, and it's loading. As you can see, it's not bad, it's fast. And the reason why it's fast, actually, to you guys, because it's running from, I have a solid state drive, I don't have a hard disk drive, so it's kind of fast, even though this is a very old machine. Maybe this is 4 years old machine. Alright, so this is my login. So again, notice, look at the name here, it's I have -VM1, so this is the name of the host machine. So we can verify it, and this is the name of the account, but my user ID is iDarwish, so I'm gonna log in using the same password that we learned before. So we are using the default password, which is password P capital letter @SSW0RD. And by the way, I have already modified the settings necessary for making the network, but I will go over the steps so you are aware of the process. So I'm going to do it first from the first machine, virtual machine 1. So it's loading. It's Ubuntu 16.04, and probably is going to ask you also to update or upgrade. I have no intention to update or upgrade at this moment. I'm happy with this, because I just want to learn. I just want you to learn how to establish a network, and this is only is going to be from the command line. So the beauty about it is that you have to be able to do it from the command line. So I'm going to go to the terminal. This is the search box of the Ubuntu. Type terminal, or TER. So I have a mistake, typo mistake. Alright, so the terminal comes and just click on it, takes you to the terminal. Notice if you are going to do any modification to the network, you can't be a regular user, you have to be a root. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to remember I taught you guys that the $sign here, this is the $sign, is for a regular user, and for the root it's a hashtag. Now remember, this is my account. iDarwish is the login name, this is the name of this machine. Now of course, you can verify the name of the machine by typing host name. So that's the name of that machine. So we have to make sure that this machine is VM1 and the other machine is VM2, and then also I'll teach you how to change the machine name. Okay, so in order for you to change the machine name, so we can use the editor nano, and there is a configuration file under etc, so /etc, and it is called /hosts. So there's actually two files. There's one called host, the other one is called hostname. So I'll look into this file first, and notice that there is a second line here, okay, which is, this is for the local host machine. It's ending with or it has I have -VM1, which is the correct. So Control X. So there's no need to modify this one, so Control X. And there's another place where you go and access the second file, which is called host name. Notice that this is the correct name for that machine. Okay, all right. So by the way, we have to repeat the same thing for the second machine to ensure they are different. Control X. That's why when you type host name, the command host name, it will give you that name. Okay, now remember, this is $sign, it's not a hashtag. Okay, so but you can run different commands because the username has administrative or root privileges. The next file that must be checked in order for you to ensure that the network connection is correct. So there's another file called networks. So I'm gonna type nano and networks with the S. So again, this has to be under etc. So nano/etc. This is the path. Networks. Alright, by the way, I added the second line, so this was only having two lines here, the first one, which is a comment, and then the local, but I made this to be the domain linux.net space 192. So I want this machine to be part of the network 192.168.100. Remember in the class we talked about the highway? This is a class C, so I want the whole network to be class C, and the network address 192.168.100.0. So it's already changed. So if you don't have it, please make sure you do it. So I don't need to do any modification, just Control X. So I'm gonna repeat it just in case. I just want to show you if it's not there, what you can do. So if it's not there, you add it. Okay, for example, I'm going to add a comment just in the top here, and the comment is hashtag. This is a comment. Now by the way, this now has changed. In order for you to save it, Control X. Now notice that it says that save modified buffer. You have to say yes, and file name to write, it's going to be /etc/networks. Hit enter, and in this case we saved the file, the content of this one to that file. Control X, and when you Control X, in this case save modified file changes. Yes, we said yes, and Control X, enter, error. Well, now we have a problem here, and this is good it happened now, because it says permission is denied, because you have to be a root. Okay, you have to switch user to the root. So let me in this case exit this, Control X and N. Now as we have learned in the class, in order for you to become a root, you can't switch user to a root, but you can do sudo -s. So basically you can start a complete session as root, and notice that you have to supply the password that you have for your name. And here we are, this is the hashtag. See the hashtag? Now you are logged in as root for this session. So now I could perform nano/etc/networks. Now I can modify it by add that comment. I mean, actually you have to add the line, the linux.net, but I already have it there, but I want to show you that how you modify it with this line is a comment. Control X. Now I want to save changes, yes, and the same name to right, which is /etc/networks, and this is it. You see, this is how we are able to set up the network. Okay, now there is a very important file that will allow you to add a static IP address. Okay, and that file is that we need to edit. It's called nano. Nano is the editor, also /etc/network. So there is a directory called network. Okay, let me just show you. I'm gonna change the directory to etc. Now ls. Now ls n star. Notice now the items that they have, the do we have a network here? No. So sorry, so we don't have a file called networks, no, but okay, so let me again. So we switch directory to etc. Now actually when we switch directory to etc, the file that we must modify is called interfaces. Okay, in different Linux versions we have to go to network. Okay, so the file name is called network, but in under sysconfig. Okay, but in this version of Ubuntu, or Ubuntu in general, so the file name that we need to access is called interfaces, as it appears here. This is the file name. So in order for us to edit it, we type nano. Now remember, we don't have to put /etc, we just type interfaces. This is where we add the static IP address. Hit enter. Okay, so interfaces, so there is nothing in there. So probably I have a mistake somewhere, so Control X. So it's called interfaces. Alright, so let me see, ls of I star. Okay, so it's okay, so it's not. Let me do clear because my screen is crowded. Let me type ls of I and star. Everything that starts with I. Okay. Alright, so let me switch cd to network. Okay, yes, there is a folder called network. It's my mistake. Okay, so there's a folder called network, and when I type ls, these are the files under network. So I have to go to network. So basically I was correct. So there is a network folder under Ubuntu. So I'm going to edit the file, the interfaces, nano interfaces. Alright, now by default the file has only those 3 lines, the first 3 lines, auto, local loop, okay, and all this for the local. I added everything else from here, which is from auto. This is the network interface name. So basically auto ENP Ethernet protocol 0S3. So this is the name of the Ethernet card. So the interface ENP inet, we make it static. So the IP address, we make it static, and then address is a keyword. We want this machine to be 11. This is how we do 11. And gateway, which is the router, the default gateway, which is going to be 1, which is a hypothetical router. And the net mask is, this is class C, 255.255.255.0. DNS name server is also hypothetical. Make sure that those lines are present, 2, 4, 6 lines in this file. Alright, so you add them and Control X, of course you save, but it's already there. Once you do that, then you have to bring the interface up. So IF up, and this is the interface up followed by the interface name. Now before you do that, I will show you how to do it, how to check the adapters. I'm gonna do clear, and I want to do ifconfig command. This will display all the different adapters in this machine that are available. This is, so the adapter is called ENP Ethernet Protocol 0S3. Notice that this has been already updated or activated, but you know, in order for you to make sure that the work is done, so you have to bring the interface up, IF up, or ENP 0S3. When you do that, alright, so already configured. Okay, so because it was already configured, let me bring it down. If down, interface down, ENP 0S3. Alright, so in this case I brought the interface down. As you can see, disconnected from the network. When I type ifconfig, I mean there's no interfaces because I brought it down. So the command to bring it up is if interface up, and remember it's called ENP. In my case, the name of the interface was ENP, which is Ethernet Protocol 0S3. Bring it up, takes a few seconds. Great. So it's work in progress. It's ensuring that the interface is brought up. Okay, so it's more than a few seconds actually. Okay, so now to double check if the interface is up or not, so type ifconfig, and here we are. This is the interface, and the IP address has been assigned 192.168.100.11, and this is the subnet mask, this is the broadcast, and also the default gateway or the router should be also displayed. Okay, so, and this is the hardware address, okay, ending with -A. So this machine can ping itself. When you can run the command ping, this is 192.168.100.11. Notice that it is sending packets, ICMP packets, and by the way, this is going to run for continuously unless you press Control C to break it. Okay, so of course you can run it with certain count. You type ping and -C3 for 192.168.100.11. so it's only doing it for 3 packets because the count -C, which is you only send 3 packets. Okay, so this is ready. This machine is configured with the host name as well as network address 192.168.100.0 and this IP address for this machine. Now we have to do the same thing in the other machine just to make sure that everything is running correctly. So I'm gonna go and launch the other machine. So I'm going to bring the other machine up. I'm gonna turn off. So I'm gonna do the same steps on the second machine or VM2, but I already have done those things, but I will go over them again, go over those steps again. So this is Ubuntu 16.04 is loading. So this is second box. And I have to log in. Notice that I already have changed the name, but I'm gonna go over it again. So password, it's loading. Remember that I have the first machine is already running, so that's the first machine, as you can see it here. Now this is the second machine that we are launching. Because we want to establish communication between these two machines. Okay, so we go to the terminal. Type DER for terminal. Okay. Alright, so the terminal is right here. So when you open the application, you will see the terminal, which is the command line interface, but we call it terminal under Linux. As you can see, this is a $sign. Notice that I'm logged in as iDarwish. That the machine name is ihab-vm2, and as I'm at the hashtag. So actually, let me just sudo -s to create a root session. Supply the password. Notice now I'm at the hashtag. So the first thing that you need to do is to change or to make sure that the host name is correct. So nano/etc/hosts, and it's VM2, correct? This is the second machine, so it's VM2. So if you have it VM1, you have to change this number to VM2 and save it. Control X. I need to do nano host name. So the second file is called host name under etc, and notice it has, I already have changed it. It's called it's ihab-vm2. I replaced the one with the 2. Control X. So this is the second file. Then I will need to check nano also /etc/networks. This is to set up a network IP address or network address. Alright, which is, I already have it added the second line. It should be identical to the other one because those two machines must be on the same network, which is 192.168.100.0, and the domain name is linux.net. So I don't have to do anything here, but you guys have to do something, or you have to add that line. Control C, sorry, Control X. Don't have to do anything. The third one is nano/etc/ there is a folder, it's a directory called network, and the file name is called interfaces. That's a file name that we have to convert, or we have to set the IP address, the static IP address. Hit enter, and me just make sure, maybe I have spelling mistake. Interfaces network. Okay, Control X, it's not there. Let me just make sure, maybe to check. Okay, let me go to cd/etc ls cd to network. Okay, so that's the network. Then ls, so it's called interfaces. So I had to do it through the cd command. I don't know why, but maybe I did some type of error. Now I need to do nano, the editor, interfaces, and okay, so it's right here. So it's there, the file is there. Notice that I added those 6 lines. Okay, so you have to make sure that you add them. So you do auto ENP, Ethernet protocol 0S3 interface static. So you make it static, not dynamic. The address, make sure that this is 12. So the second machine, as you can see, this VM2 is 12. Gateway is 1, and net mask is class C, and DNS you just put this number. So again, I'll keep it for a few seconds just to make sure that this has to be the setting of the interfaces file under /etc/network. Okay, Control X. Alright, and of course when you say save modification, say yes, and right to interfaces, hit enter, and that's so basically the file has been modified, even though maybe because I hit enter. Now you have to bring the interface down, if down of. Before I do that, I'll type ifconfig. It's EMP, so I'll bring it down, if down, and because it's up 0S3. So I'll bring the interface down, it's down, then I will bring it up again, if up EMP 0S3. It will take again a few seconds, maybe more than a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds actually. So now remember guys, I'm doing it from the second machine. So I already have done it for the first machine. The first machine has been set up, the network setup has been set up as static, and it's again using internal networking. Alright, so it's done. So let me just clear screen and type ifconfig. Yes, that Ethernet is active. Hardware address is E9, ending with E9, and so that's the MAC address, and this is the IP address. It's 12. Alright, and so everything is running as expected. Now let me just check if I can ping myself. Ping, this is another way to ping yourself, 127.0.0.1. so connection networking is there. Control C. You can ping also the local hosts. So remember the name of this machine is IHAB-VM2. V capital letter VM2. You can ping. This is the second way to ping yourself, and you can use ping the IP address, which is 192.168.100.12. This machine is 12. As you can see, it's working perfectly. So now clear. Now I want to make sure that I can ping the other machine. So ping 192.168.100. So that's the network. This is class C. Dot the second machine. As you can see, the first machine was 11. Hit enter. Voila! You can see the ping command is running. So I'm going to launch the other machine. Alright, so I want to bring them next to each other. So this is the first machine, so I want to have them side by side. Okay, so I'm going to drag this one here to the right side, and I'm going to have the second machine okay. Where is the other machine? The first machine is right here. Okay, so this is the first machine. Just bring them side by side. Alright, so now bring them side by side. We just okay. So now both machines are side by side. Remember, this is VM1 and this is VM2. So they are two different boxes. This is pinging 100, and let me go to this machine on the left side. Type ifconfig, or let's do clear ifconfig. So this is address 11. As you can see, the second machine here, the second machine or VM2 is pinging 11, so it's perfectly sending packets. And we do that ping from 1 or 11 to 12, so ping 192.168.100.12. The second machine is 12, this is 11. Hit enter. Notice now they are pinging each other. Okay, this is it. This is you take a screenshot for that thing and you keep it to yourself. Now this is how you set up the network. Okay, so I'm going to end this session. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'll see you again, guys. So